It's Saturday, August 17th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. A lot to talk about real quick. A lot of people have been asking about where Kona's been, our Bengal. She's getting bigger. Beautiful, beautiful cat. We love her to death. So here she is. There she goes. There she goes. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about today. Let's get right into it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. U.S. living standards in grave danger. This on the Hedge today. Just a couple data points here. 2/3, and this is according to Moody's, 2/3 of people say the number one issue they face is the cost of living and paying their bills. We never saw anything like this 10 or 20 years ago in America, and now this is becoming very, very common. Do you see how we're beginning to resemble a third world country now, where people are having difficulties just paying their light bill, where you're seeing more tents and more cardboard boxes, more people living on the streets? Americans are spending nearly $1,000 more per month compared with 3 years ago to just pay living expenses. Think about that. $1,000 more per month. That is a huge amount of money for a lot of people. That puts a big dent in somebody's standard of living. 1/3 of Americans say they have to take on an additional job just to make ends meet. Not to get ahead, not to save money, not to live a better life, but to just make ends meet. 70% have cut back spending on entertainment, going to the movies, maybe going to a game. And I highly recommend that you continue to cut back on this. Sports, Hollywood, all of that. Not a place where you need to be spending your time or your money. They've shown their true colors. They don't like you. They dislike the majority of Americans. You have a better place to spend your time and money. 2/3 are putting bills on credit cards. 3 and 5 are cutting back on driving. So as people will write me and say, hey, everything's great where I live, or I was, in this town or that town, everything's wonderful. Again, don't be fooled by everything you see, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of this is due to credit cards and people taking on debt to carry on a lifestyle that they can no longer afford. A lot of people are basically financing a Friday night going out to dinner, Friday night at the bar. They're having to slap this on a credit card at 23%, and they're going to carry a balance month over month just to have some fun on a Friday, or take a weekend trip, or go Christmas shopping, or go on a summer vacation. People are going to pay a big price here. Maybe they're at the resorts, maybe they're at the beach, maybe they're at the bars, maybe they're at the restaurants. But how are they doing it? Many of them are doing it because they have access to credit cards. Yes, there are people out there that have money, but the majority of this country, 78% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. That should tell you and I right there that the majority of this country is in big trouble and probably shouldn't be taking summer vacations, or doing Christmas shopping, or going out Friday night or Saturday night to the bars, or to a steakhouse. You can't afford it. If you can't afford it, don't put it on a credit card. That's the worst thing you could do. Watcher.guru, 159 countries set to adopt BRICS new payment system. This is going to become a very, very serious problem. At some point, this is going to happen. And when it does, there will be no need for the US dollar. So if you think your standard of living is slipping right now, wait till this happens, when 159 countries adopt the BRICS new payment system and get out of, I believe ours is SWIFT. When they leave SWIFT and go to the BRICS, this is going to be big, big trouble. Our standard of living will change overnight. This is going to allow countries to have unilateral settlement. They're not going to use the US dollar. And while people are going to baseball games this weekend, while they're watching cartoons, while they're ignoring reality, this is what's happening behind the scenes right now. And if you're not preparing for this, if you're not protecting yourself right now, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. The Detroit News, Stellantis Trenton plant to temporarily shut down next week as 20,700 engines pile up. There are so many cars piling up on the dealer lots now, they don't know where to put them. So now they have almost 21,000 engines and no cars to put them in. They're slowing down production because they don't know where to put the cars. And as they slow down production, you're going to see more people losing their jobs, being laid off. As you know, Stellantis is in huge trouble. Their cars are piling up probably more than anybody's. But we have a big problem, many big problems in this country, ladies and gentlemen. When you look at what's happening to commercial real estate, now what's happening to the auto market, you look at home sales. Home sales, I mean, they're just not selling. Days on market longer, less qualified buyers, people losing jobs. This is all just one problem after another, and people continue to ignore what is happening. Maybe when they begin to lower prices, people will come to buy, but you need a job for that. I think we're going to see a problem here where prices of literally everything start to come down, but people still won't be able to afford it. You could see mortgage rates come down, but they still can't afford to buy the house because they don't have a job or they have too much debt. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before in my life. There are so many cars on these lots, so many empty buildings, so many empty shopping malls, so many homes sitting on the market not selling while they keep telling us every day there's just no inventory. That is such a lie. There is inventory, and there's more inventory coming as far as homes. Daily Mail, panic as Rite Aid abruptly shuts all stores in 2 states with customers scrambling to find a new pharmacy. We talked about this last week. This is taking place in Michigan and Ohio. Now tens of thousands of customers need to find a pharmacy, a place to get their medicine. So people now have less choices and they have a lot more inconvenience. I mean, think about what we're seeing here, where you're seeing thousands of stores just shutting down and Rite Aid shutting down completely in 2 states, putting tens of thousands of people in jeopardy with their medicine. When was the last time you saw something like this? It is really unbelievable what we're watching take place, yet the stock market continues to go up and ignore what is happening on Main Street, what is happening in the real economy. It is really, really shocking. I haven't talked to too many people that now aren't beginning to see that there's cracks in the dam. People, whether I'm just out and talking to somebody, friends, acquaintances, it could be somebody at the swimming pool. People now are beginning to feel some pain, and they're beginning to see that there's problems. And I don't think people understand to the extent how bad this is. It's much worse than most people think. This is not going to be fixed in 6 months. It's not going to be fixed in a couple years. We are at a point now in our history where this is probably going to get much, much worse, if it's even repairable. It's going to get much worse before it gets better. UBS to liquidate $2 billion real estate fund as office downturn bites. The value of the assets in this fund, as I make this video, continue to fall. We have never seen a commercial real estate collapse like the one we're seeing. This is an absolute commercial apocalypse taking place, and these values are continuing to spiral out of control, which is going to put a lot of regional banks in jeopardy. You may be a client at one of these banks. We're going to see big trouble. It's amazing when you watch some of these financial channels. Rarely do they ever warn of any of the dangers, of any of the threats out there regarding the economy. It's all good news. It's almost like going to church these days. It's all good news. You can do whatever you want. There's no threat. There's no danger. We're just going to tell you what you want to hear. So a lot of these financial channels are just like the churches in America today, where it's nothing but great news. It's utopia. Just continue to do what you're doing. Neither of these two are preparing you for the dangers or the threats out there that are right around the corner. Now, I don't know if that's a year away, 2 years away, 3 years away, or 3 weeks away. Nobody knows. But we have been watching year after year after year, major deficits, the major debt. the volatility in the stock market. You've seen gold make all-time highs yet again. That's a huge warning right there. We're watching wars escalating across the globe. You know, people just think that if things haven't crashed in a year or two, it's never going to happen. Bubbles like this don't work like that. It takes years for these bubbles to get this big, and it takes time for the air to start coming out, but then it begins to accelerate, and then it accelerates out of control. And I think that we're at a point now where so much damage has been done. There's so much debt. The deficits are so big. The social division is so big that this is going to go down in the history books when these bubbles begin to burst. And on top of that, there's multiple bubbles. It's not just one bubble. We have trouble throughout many, many sectors. This 85-year-old mom co-signed her daughter's student loan years ago. Now she fears the lender may take her house. Many people who borrow private student loans are required to get a co-signer. What if repayment becomes an issue? So this grandma, who's on Social Security, makes like $1,700 a month. That's her income. She has a $31,000 loan balance that I believe she co-signed for a grandkid. Be very, very cautious here. There's a lot of parents, there's a lot of grandparents co-signing for these loans. Many of these are worthless loans, and a lot of things can go wrong. And you're going to be on the hook for this. So we have a lot of people, you know, in their 40s, 50s, 80s co-signing for student loans. And if those student loans are not repaid, they may come after your house. They're going to come after your assets. And this is all happening while we have a declining economy. So you lose your job. You're 50 some odd years old and you're paying for your kid in college or whatever, and you lose your job. And now your kid gets a worthless degree and is struggling to pay the debt back. What are you going to do? They're coming after you. They're coming after you because you are the one with the assets, not your 22-year-old kid. Be very, very careful right now with doing things like this, co-signing for debts like this. Many, many people are really putting themselves in jeopardy, thinking they're doing a good thing, but there's a lot that can go wrong here, and it's going to jeopardize older people like this grandma right here, 85 years old, to people in their 40s and 50s who think that, you know, they're helping their kids, but they're putting themselves in a financial jeopardy here. They will come after you. Florida hit by worst real estate crisis in decades as desperate condo owners slashed prices by up to 40%. It's paradise lost. This bill, SB 4D, requires all Florida condos aged 30 years and older to undergo inspection by the end of the year. And after that inspection, they have up to a year to do the repairs. Condo owners now are getting very, very worried because these repairs, after that assessment is done, that inspection, the condo owners and association must start repairs within a year of that inspection. And so if your HOA does not have the money, and many of these do not, guess what? They're coming after you, the condo owner, for the money, and you're going to have to do it. So now everybody's trying to bounce out of these condos in Florida, and you know, we've been hearing about this for quite a while, but now, you know, prices are being slashed up to 40%. People are getting out. It's just one thing after another. When you look at the home insurance, you look at property taxes. Now, you know, we're looking at these assessments and these repairs that must be done. It's just one thing after the other. I don't know how so many people right now are even able to keep their homes. How many people out there are really falling behind, who are in jeopardy of losing their homes or their condos because they can't pay the property tax. They can't pay their utilities. Inflation is just absolutely beating them down. And now we've got repair costs that are getting added into this. Insurance is through the roof. It's getting much more difficult to be a homeowner today than ever before. Remember back in the day when you were growing up, your dad worked, your mom could stay at home, take care of the family. Most people had one, maybe two cars, but it was one one parent working, one income took care of the house, the car, the food, the bills, everything. You know, I saw this thing on Facebook the other day. It was a picture of Al Bundy back in the day. What was that, 80s, 90s, married with children. And it showed Al Bundy sitting on his couch with his 2-bedroom house. Where were they? On the south side of Chicago, wherever it was. And they were considered poor back then. What they had, like the station wagon, the 2-story house, the old couch. They were considered poor back then. But today, one person working at a shoe store, Al Bundy, they're considered rich. 2-story house, car, one income. They'd be considered rich today. That house today, probably that Al Bundy was living in, is probably worth $1 million. So it's amazing these changes that we're seeing take place. That once, 40 years ago, that was considered poor. Like they were just poor. Now today, if you had that, you'd be considered rich. It's weird. The vice president is going to cause some big trouble here if she becomes president. The VP has admitted at rallies there's an ongoing inflation storm and affordability crisis. Didn't she help to create this mess to begin with? What has she been doing for the last 3.5 years? Wasn't she second in charge? We're not getting political here. We are talking about money. We're talking about dollars. We're talking about economics here. So, don't attack me. I'm not telling you who to vote for, who not to vote for. You can do whatever you want to do. We're just talking about the economics here. But under this regime, we are looking at the highest food prices we have ever seen in our life. And she wants to introduce government price controls on grocery stores and food companies. How many of you think that that is a good idea? Since her and Joe have been in office, eggs are up 46.8%, peanut butter is up 42.8%, crackers are up 40.3%, baby formula and baby food up 30.1%, delivery services up 29.7%. Maybe it's time to maybe stop going after the grocery stores and the food producers and maybe stop spending. Maybe stop spending. Maybe stop spending so much on drones, missiles, F-16s, giving newcomers $5,000 debit cards. Maybe that would actually help push food prices down. But no, they want to go after the producers now. They want to go after the food companies now. And I think that when you want to put government price controls on anything, you better be very, very careful. How much control do you want to give the system, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not saying that there's no price gouging going on out there. There probably is some. But the biggest price gouge is the inflation that we're getting because of all the overspending that this country does. That's the biggest price gouge. How much are you pay in taxes? You think you're getting what you deserve for what you pay in taxes? Is that a gouge? Price control plan would cause a widespread supply chain crisis. They want to use producers as scapegoats for economic failure that they've produced. This on the Hedge today. So they want to use producers as scapegoats for the economic failure that they produced and created. The government is in no position to police prices. Let the free markets do that. Let the free markets come up with what the prices should be. If they continue to do stuff like this, the more they control, the more that they're involved in, the worse it gets, the more damage they do. I mean, take a look. Take a look at your local DMV. Take a look at the school system. Take a look at the medical system. They doing a good job? You happy with this? When the system is involved in anything, they completely destroy it. And you're gonna push farmers, you're gonna push ranchers to a point where they're just gonna stop producing. And you will have a food crisis. So now Joe and Kamala want to force states to fund healthcare. This is very interesting. Starting November 1st, let me know if you heard about this. States will be forced to fund health care costs for immigrants, newcomers. Do you get free health care? It says here, average cost of health care for a family of 4 is $29,968 per year. These people, it will be zero. Zero. So let me get this straight. You will have to pay your health care for you and your family, and you will have to pay the health care for these people and their family. They will not pay their health care or your health care. You will pay yours and theirs. How is this, again, we're not even being political here, but how is this fair? We're talking right versus wrong. We're talking economics here. How in the world a country that is $35 trillion in debt going to pay for health care for millions? We don't even know the number. It's millions upon millions of people. How are we going to afford to do this? While hospitals are going out of business because of all this. How do you feel about this? I think this is absolutely criminal, in my opinion. Absolutely criminal, especially when people are struggling to pay almost $30,000 for their health insurance for a family of 4, and somebody can just come here and get it for free because you're going to pay for it. Absolutely disgusting. It should be criminal. I mean, I cannot even believe that we're even talking about something like this. We've never seen the U.S. economy this bad ever, and we continue to spend absolutely out of control. And now we're going to pay people's health care. Not even people that live in this country. We're going to pay for people that come to this country. Unbelievable. New York Post. California thieves strike 3 7-Eleven stores in under 20 minutes in the Hollywood area. 20 bicycle riding thieves ransacked 3 separate 7-Eleven stores in under 20 minutes. Again, it's another reminder of what is coming. We are so out of control as a nation. The social destruction that has taken place. These people do this for fun, entertainment, a pastime. What is this going to look like when times really get bad, as the depression deepens? And nothing gets done about this. These people do whatever they want to do, completely lawless. There's no repercussions, nothing. But you park your car at the beach or on the street somewhere and not pay that meter, and you get a $60 ticket. You'll get a $60 ticket. You go, 5 miles, 10 miles over the speed limit, you get a $300 ticket. But these people, they can ride their bikes, run into a 7-Eleven, take whatever they want. Nobody cares. You go up to San Francisco, you can break people's windows, take whatever you want, go into a store, take whatever you want, and nothing happens. I'm going to close with this last article. This really is disgusting. Mets, the New York Mets. Is it New York? I don't even know. I don't even watch baseball. Mets should be ashamed of themselves for Hawk Tuah girl's first pitch on camp day. If you know anything about this Hawk Tuah girl, I mean, pretty much a lowlife. Camp day at Citi Field on Thursday afternoon, thousands of kids in the ballpark. Why in the world is a baseball team honoring this person? No morals, pretty much a lowlife. Nothing personal, but this is not what you want your kids to be around. Again, these baseball teams, the football, the basketball, they don't care about you. They don't care about your beliefs. They don't care about your religious beliefs. They really don't care. To have this Hawk Tuah girl sitting there throwing out the first pitch, is really disgusting. And there's people on here that will talk, they'll, on some of their channels, or, people that, I know will talk about going to a baseball game. You should be absolutely embarrassed that you even support this stuff. People out there, I've got season tickets to this team, that team. You should be absolutely embarrassed that you're giving your money to an organization like this, that baseball, Major League Baseball, allows this. They allow this, and people sit there and still brag, oh, I got season tickets for here, I got season tickets for that, I went to this game. I mean, this is who you're giving your money to. This is who you're bringing your kids to see, this Haktua chick. I mean, are you kidding me? Major League Baseball endorses this, allows this, and you give them money? I mean, that's really embarrassing. It really is. Look, I could care less if you go to a baseball game or whatever, but when do you wake up and go, these organizations, they're losers, they're lowlifes, they're taking my money, and this is who they embrace. This is who they send for the first pitch while thousands of kids are out there. Absolutely disgusting. I think people better wake up and start voting with their wallets, and maybe cutting out some of the sporting events, and really begin to do a little research of where their money's going and what these organizations believe in. They don't believe in what you believe in. They don't like you. In fact, they despise you. Military, they despise you. Law enforcement, they despise you. Working people, families, they despise you. And yet you still go to the games and you still give them money. Hollywood, same thing. Yet you still go to the movies and give them money. You still support this garbage. And then you'll wonder why, things aren't getting better. Why is society breaking down? Why is all this garbage in the movies when I go watch it and I can't take my kids to it? Or, it's just disgusting. But yet, people just keep giving them money. It doesn't impress me that you have season tickets. It doesn't impress me that you got front row at a baseball game. In fact, I really have no respect for you. I really don't. When are people going to wake up and say, I'm not giving my money to this garbage anymore? When do we get to this point to where we just start shutting this stuff off, shut off Hollywood, shut off these teams, that used to be so American, that used to be so family orientated. Now, they continue with this garbage. I'm not going to rant. Just want to bring it up. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Things are heating up in the Middle East. Again, things are happening so fast, ladies and gentlemen. You do not know what's going to happen tonight, what's going to happen when you wake up. So as I leave you today, stay on track. Keep praying. Keep preparing. Keep training. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there. We have no idea what's coming next, what's going to happen to the U.S. economy, how many more job losses are coming, what's going to happen to any of this. It's anybody's guess at this point. Nobody has a crystal ball, but every day it's just something new, something else happening, something else breaking. I've never seen anything like it. So maybe more people should spend less time watching games and watch real life and what's happening in real life. That's going to affect their pensions, their Social Security, their jobs, their children, all of that. I'm going to leave it there. God bless every one of you. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good weekend. Talk to all of you soon.